Hello, this is Jaculin Dorman, and I'm so glad that you're joining me this evening. It's been pretty exciting. There's a lot of stuff going on, which is why we called for this live cast. It's kind of been extreme lately, and some of you have told me that and noticed it. Oh, it's not started yet. So I want you to watch and see. We're doing some technical stuff right now, so let me make sure that everybody's on. It looks like there's a delay on all of these, and so we're making sure that the delay is not on. Just give me 1 minute. And maybe not. That would be fun if I was just talking to me. Okay. All right. Okay. So just try hitting your play button, Pat. All right, so we're going to go on. So it has been an extremely accelerated program as far as the Earth and what the Earth is doing, which is why we've called it. And when I talk about the Earth, you know, we are part of the Earth. So we know that this accelerated process is affecting us as well. And that is the main reason why we called the live cast for today. So a lot of you have been having symptoms, and the main symptom is lassitude. In other words, you're so exhausted, the bone chilling part of you is just not able to proceed in the day. Excuse me. And there's a good reason why that is occurring. And the primary reason is that we are losing our magnetic field. That is, well, you're not losing it, it's shifting. So we've been hit by a lot of unprecedented solar flares. And I always say, people, you can watch by getting a solar flare alert. And I particularly like to watch spaceweather.com because they kind of give you an idea of what's going on. And it's actually an educational tool, but it tends to be the easiest for people to interpret or decipher. There are others that are a little more technical, but I tend to like that one because it's easy. So you may have this incredible fatigue. And with this incredible fatigue, which sounds contrary, is restlessness. So you're feeling restless and you're feeling fatigue. And your immune system is being stretched to the max. So it's very, very important that you make sure that you're doing all those things that are good for your immune system. As you all know, T would say chlorophyll. You want to do antioxidants like vitamin C, B12. You want to do everything and anything that you can to support your body during this time, because we have had huge numbers. It's quiet right now, but we have, all last week, we had huge X-flare solar flares, and there were many direct hits. And I think a lot of you noticed that in class. I had class last week with my practitioner levels, and everyone noticed that the computers were working, but they were working, all the internet facings were very, very slow and very, very sluggish, and that's as a result of what's going on with that. But the more important thing is that as we're at this time, we need to really make sure that we're meditating, that we're using our tools, that we're staying on the higher vibration of the fifth dimension and not getting pulled into the third dimension. And you know, there is so much news out there that wants to suck you in to that 3D stuff. So, you know, I really recommend that you avoid the news point of view, unless you can sit there and go, tricks are for kids, or what is the smoke and mirror dance that they're doing now. But if you get caught into it, don't watch the news. You know, I have a thing I say about the news. Same news, different names. It never changes, so you're not really missing much. So things are not getting better, in case you hadn't noticed. Okay, 3D is falling apart, but we've talked about this for a long, long time, that 3D has to fall apart. And good, because it's just time for that change. But we are still connected to 3D. Meanwhile, our consciousness has to move forward. because 5D doesn't exist unless our consciousness is 5D. So 3D is dismantling itself. And we know it's dismantling itself because we've seen a lot of action. So it's really, really important that we keep our energies positive. Don't get sucked down into the cha-cha is what we call it, the 3D drama, the third dimensional cha-cha. That's the best word I have for it. You know, because we're trying to get out of that drama. Now, I'm not going to tell you there's no drama in the fifth dimension, because there certainly is. But it changes. It's a very much a lighter weight. In the fifth dimension, you have bypassed character development, meaning that we're not going to knock each other's blocks off anymore. So it's very important that we understand that the ego and the way the ego responds in the third dimension is very different than the way the ego will respond in the fifth dimension. So we want you to celebrate the positive. When something is negative, I want you to flip it to positive, because by doing that, you're going to experience the positive aspect of whatever it is that's going on. And say thank you. When we say thank you, you know, I have a thing that I say, and I was telling my class last weekend, that at the end of every day, I say thank you. And it could be the world's worst, crummiest, stinkiest day. And I'm still going to say thank you, because there was a treasure somewhere in that stinky day for me. In other words, it expanded me. It showed me, you know, it may have been a pretzel factory day, but nonetheless, I got something out of that day. And you're going to have stinky days. They come with the body. You know, you're just going to have that. It's never going to be a utopia here on Earth. Excuse me, I'm going to drink. Until we don't need our bodies anymore. And Earth is still housing physical body inhabitants for a long, long time to come. So in the last live cast, and if you go to watch that live cast, skip right through the first 5 minutes. It was the first time Pat and I ever did it. And this is the second. So skip right through that, because we screwed up. So it actually starts in about 5 minutes. So watch that. But in that, we talked about the tapestry and how we've been pulling the threads out of this tapestry until you can't really tell what the image is on the tapestry anymore. So you're seeing the world falling apart, quite literally. And that tapestry is our collective consciousness that makes up our realities. Excuse me. So, what is our reality? Well, our reality is what we make of it. So I want you to know there's nothing wrong. This planet is still the home for third dimensional beings, meaning that they're not intended to change right now. They will change. You know, like I say, everyone will eventually be a star child, but maybe not today. And that would be like saying, well, gosh, you made it to first grade. Now let's do algebra. That wouldn't be very fair. So that's all that's occurring here. It's not judgmental. It's strictly where you are in the process of your ascendance. And Earth houses beginners. And not too many places take on beginners. And so there's a lot of work going on in the celestial realms about what people call the new Earth, but it isn't really new Earth. It's the new 3D planet that's going to take on new souls, newborn ascendants. And so they're starting from the very beginning, where they don't know that if I knock you on the head, that hurts the person, or they don't care that it hurts the person. And they learn to connect. And this is what we call character development, where we understand that we are connected to the whole. So in third and fourth dimension, you don't really have that understanding of being connected to the whole yet. In the fifth dimension, it's all about that connectedness. It's all about that, what some people call the Christ consciousness, or that connection to the whole. So you're seeing this huge division, this tug of war going on, and there is nothing wrong. And I think that's the main thing that the masters wanted to convey today, is to let you know there is nothing wrong. We're doing great. And it doesn't look great, I know. I know, but the third dimension is intended to fall apart. It must fall apart as we construct the fifth dimension. And how does that fifth dimension get constructed? But through ourselves. So the earth is in this dance, and we are part of the dance. There's no way you're going to separate yourself from the dance, because we're on earth. And right now, it is a third dimension architectural configuration, meaning everything looks the same and functions the same. When that finally shifts, when we finally reach that shift, then it will be a 5-6 configuration. So the limitations of our mind and body shift and change quite a bit. So we have to grow into that. And that is what we have been doing for so many years. And that's what we are still doing. So the earth is increasing, practicing. How long ago was that? I don't really remember. Some of my students will remember. The earth flipped its north-south polarity maybe 2 years ago, I'm going to guess, because I don't really do time and space that well. But when it did it within like 3 seconds. Flip, 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 flip. And that caused us to feel very disoriented, very confused, and hard to keep our ground in. But last week, this amazing thing happened. And I know some of you sent me it in the news, and I was watching it almost as soon as everyone was sending it to me in the email, that there was a pilot, and she actually had enough time to take a picture of her instrument panel to show that the magnetic North Pole was in Antarctica, which means that the Earth had flipped its polarity for however long that was. I never really found out how long that was, but long enough to take a picture is much, 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 much longer than we have been experiencing up until now. So what happened as a result of that is it kind of messed us up. And so we have been working on getting people realigned energetically as a result of that. When we flip, and if we indeed do flip this way, if we actually do go to the fifth dimension this way, then you're going to have a period of time that's called the 0 point, or the point of the void. Biblically, they call it 3 days and 3 nights. Who knows what that means? But there's a period of time where you're not north and you're not south. You're not one configuration or another. You're in between until the planet resets itself. That's how it is. So we know that the polarity or the pole shift happens, and it happens on other planets, and it has happened on Earth. It's been documented. And about 6 or 8 months ago, I was reading an article, and they said the poles will shift, but probably in a couple thousand years. I'm like, interesting. So now this event happens last week, and you can Google this and find the article, and it says Earth pole shift, Earth magnetic pole. And in this article, it said that the poles may happen, the shift of the poles may happen within our lifetime. Now, in 6 or 8 months, they're suddenly changing their story. Now, they're not going to tell us, hey, guys, you know, this could happen any second, because they're always this concern of panic and where are you going to go and what are you going to do? So we're here to say don't panic, because this has happened before. And was this the extinction of the dinosaurs? No. The Native Americans have stories of this occurring. So no. Will the world be the same now as it has been? No. It will change, and we will create our new world. So what you experienced last week, and many of you had this feeling, in fact, we were doing what we call putting the orbit back on people. Well, that hasn't stopped. We're still doing it, which is why we called for today, because it's exciting and disturbing at the same time what is occurring. I mean, I love it. I love it because for me anyway, I've spent my whole life helping others and getting ready for this time, talking about it, trying to reassure people. So when these things happen, people get a little wiggy sometimes because there's always that fear of what is not known. And so we're here to help you not to have that fear, because if you're in that fear state, you're going to be 3D. So it's very important that you use your tools and you find your way to embrace your energy so that you can elevate to meet what's going on the planet Earth. So we want to be separated from the 3D. We also want the third dimension to have less of an impact on us. So I'm looking at my notes here. Okay, so there has been, in the last several months, a lot of what I call disinformation media, and a lot of tactics for fear going on. And any of you who've ever heard me speak before, you know that we talk about they want the media, them, the great them, you know, those who kind of run the masses, want the masses in a fear state because you can control the masses when they're in a fear state. So again, we're going to say, look through those smoke and mirrors. What are they doing? And you get to the point where when you're observing life and you're observing what's going on, and a lot of you have been doing this now for quite a while, you kind of go, they want me to look here. What's going on over here? So, and that happens when you have this expansion of consciousness. So a lot of you are already experiencing that, and that's good. So again, put your checks and balances in place to know that they're playing a lot of games right now because they're trying to hold on to their control of the planet. And the mother has another plan. The mother has a total other plan. So you can understand why they might be pulling out all the stops and trying all these different things that are going on. And you are having, not Ebola, but you are having an increase of more viruses and bacteria that are affecting because of the global changes that are happening. But with your immune system, it's like this. When your immune system is at a certain place, and here comes an organism, you get sick. But if your vibration is above that, and here comes the organism, it just goes by. You don't get sick. So as we increase our vibration, those microorganisms do not interact with us as much. I won't say never, but less, much, much less. So actually in the fifth and sixth dimension, you don't have the reaction to microorganisms that you have on the third dimension. As we start this tug of war, this separation, you're going to have more of these crazy viruses and bacteria coming around because they're affecting the third dimension. So you want to make yourself elevate above it so that it kind of does a flyby. All right. And that's the idea behind it. So when your energy is low and you're thinking 3D, you're going to react with that. When your energy is above that and you're coming from a place of love and understanding, it's going to flow by. So I think I made that clear. So it's kind of exciting. It's exciting. So just be aware. I mean, it really is about opening up our awareness. We have been in uncharted land now for a very, very, very long time. If you're not here, but I'm throwing my papers on the floor. All right, but we've been in uncharted land for a really long time. And all of the prophecies, everything that has been told to us about what is going to happen in these times as the planet changes have passed. So we are actually in uncharted area. So back to the pole shift. We've taught a lot of classes about what to do should that be how we go. And the consensus of opinion is that's probably how it's going to go. And that's a good way, actually. So there's this void place, and you're not going to be aligned north-south after that. The alignment will be south-north. So don't worry if your polarity is already south-north, you'll just be south-north. So everyone right now, the majority of people on the planet have their polarity configured north-south. Why? Because the planet is configured north-south. When that changes, the majority of the people will configure themselves south-north, because that will be the configuration of the planet, south-north. So what has been happening is a disconnected feeling, really, just totally disconnected, ungrounded. You don't know how to get yourself grounded. So I want to really, the whole purpose of today is to teach you a technique to get your energy in alignment and to allow you to keep your orbit, what we call your orbit on. Those of you who are familiar with energy radiance, and especially my students, should know about thought stimulus, well, actually it's the other way, thought stimulus, and heaven and earth connections. So the orbit is your heaven and earth connection, meaning the up and down flow, and your thought stimulus connection, which is your shoulder to shoulder. It goes diagonally across, so it would be your left shoulder, right ankle, right shoulder, left ankle, and it's like a figure eight. And so the Da Vinci Man is really showing the orbit that we all are made of, and it's basically our toroidal field. So when we get into these, excuse me, magnetic mess ups, I don't know what to call it, waivers, it messes with our toroidal field, because our toroid is used to going like this, and now suddenly it wants to go like that. But no, it can't go like that. It has to go like this. So it gets confused. So what I found was a lot of people's orbits were disconnected. They weren't north and they weren't south. So it's a very easy way to put your orbit back on. And I thought about doing it standing up, but then I thought, no, I'll just do it sitting down, because it's really easy to do sitting down. You don't have to stand up to do this. All right, so do it with me. All right. Just sit, and when you're sitting, make sure your feet are flat on the floor. That's probably the only thing that's really important here. All right. So I want you to breathe in, all right, from the third eye to like just below your belly button to your tantien. My energy radiance students have learned orbital breath. Basically, that's all we're doing, sort of, is orbital breath, not in all of its entirety, but mostly. From the navel, it comes around to the sacrum, to the crack, your crack, okay? And then from there, it comes up to your seventh cervical and then back here. Now, when you do orbital breath, you're concerned about breathing in and breathing out. When you're just doing the orbit, and if you would like to know how to do orbital breath, you can email me. And the best email is editor@ChakraLife.com. And I'll be happy to send you a copy of the orbital breath. But really, you don't need to worry about the in and the out breath right now. What you're concerned about is a steady flow down around the base of your sacrum and back up, down around the base of your sacrum and back up. Okay, so that's really what you're concerned about, is that flow of energy coming through, just like that. All right, and I want you to breathe in and out, feeling that energy. And what you do is you keep doing that until you feel it take off, like it's smooth. When your heaven and earth is not in alignment, then it feels jagged, or it feels like pulsy, you know, like it's, what's the word for that, Pat? It feels stuck. It feels stuck. So it's not flowing smooth. It's kind of like hitting resistance. That's what I was looking for. So it's hitting that resistance. So you want that energy to come down the front and up the back, down the front and up the back. So you're going to visualize just that part right now. Just do that right now. If you actually know the orbital breath technique, go ahead and do the breath as you've learned it. If you don't, it's fine. Just bring it down and around and up. Down, around, and up. Keep doing that. And you'll feel it just kind of be easy, like it takes off. It's just easy. That's when you know you have that heaven and earth connection. That's just part of it. The second part is the shoulder, okay? So you're now going to visualize, and what I do, I'm going to back up a little bit here, is I'll use my hands and I'll go in a figure 8 pattern in front of myself, just like this. And I'm smoothing that energy diagonally, right? Right shoulder, left ankle, left shoulder, right ankle. And it's coming around the back as well. It's just the same way the orbit did. So it's not like straight like this side of me or the front. It's always around. So it really should be like we should be doing this, right? But that would be a gyrate. So I just do it like this, okay? That's all you need to do. Just like when my energy radiant students, when you smooth, you just do the figure 8 pattern. It's basically the same thing. So we're just going to do that diagonal, side to side, side to side. And you're going to, again, keep doing it. Keep doing it, because it feels, for me anyway, it feels a little bit sticky on my right side. On this side, the thought going to the ankle. So I'm going to keep doing that until it's very, very smooth. There it went. Good. So you just do this to yourself. And now, while I'm doing this, I'm going back and forth. I'm going to continue to visualize the heaven and the orbit coming around. So I'm going side to side. And I'm visualizing the orbit as well. And now I've got my toroid back on and back configured. This will configure north-south. It doesn't matter if you're north-south or southwest. This will just put your orbit back on. There it goes. And you do that until it feels like it just takes off, like you become the atom, you know, because it really is like we are that atom. So it just keeps coming across like that, okay? And that is all you do. That's it. That's all it takes to put yourself back into alignment as the magnetic fields are getting so weak. And they're going to continue to get weak. Now, yesterday, I didn't look today, but yesterday they were up pretty high. You're going to have it go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. That's fine. It's good that we have good days, you know. It's good. And, you know, we didn't have any solar flares yesterday. Whoopee, you know, because we've had one like almost every day for, I don't know how long time. So you want to check your orbit every day. If you're feeling disconnected, if you're feeling out of touch. Like the feeling is isolated, like in yourself, like not really able to reach out or relate to other people, or being overreactive. It could go the other way as well. So you want to have that steady level kind of energy connected to this. So my suggestion is to do it every day right now, because you're only going to have more of these episodes. These episodes are not stopping. They are increasing. And the more they increase, the more kind of excited we get, because it's the mother saying, yeah, we're doing it. It's kind of like the mother cheering us on, and and we cheer the mother on as well. So I'm going to have to look at this, because it's an Einstein quote. And he says that a problem cannot be solved at the same level of consciousness it was created in. So when you look at the world, understand that the third dimension will not be solved from the third dimension. The third dimension and all the aspects that go with that character development will be solved at a higher level. So you can't resolve 3D from 3D. You have to resolve 3D from a higher level of consciousness and awareness. It, of course, is through our consciousness that we are creating our future, which is why it's really, really important that we're aware of our thoughts. We've been talking about that for several years now. And we're aware of how we're reacting to the world around us, to people around us, to become more loving and thankful in what we do. So you want to say thank you. Like I say thank you every day. I don't care if the day was great or the day wasn't so great. You always say thankful, because it's an experience, and it's an experience that has at least taught us, you know, and it's really good to learn from the good experiences and not just the bad ones. That's good. All right. So the changes that have already occurred are a result of the increasing in consciousness. This wobble occurring in the electromagnetic field is a result of our consciousness increasing. The consciousness of the planet is elevating, and it's doing it quite well at quite a good rate. So this tug of war between 3D and 5D sometimes seems confusing. So, you know, when I feel that way, I just do conscious use of power. I just do the technique, which is called conscious use of power. And if you are not aware of the technique of conscious use of power, again, email me at editor@ChakraLife.com, and I will send you a copy of this technique. But conscious use of power will actually feed my ego, so that I am no longer responding from that place of negative power, that place of hunger, because really all the ego is doing is looking for love. And when we nurture and we feed our egos that love, it's really quite cooperative. You know, it's really not trying to make trouble. It's just starving for love. So conscious use of power is a light technique that we use to nurture ourselves and in turn nurture the world. And this is how you really can have an effect on the world, is by using the conscious use of power. So if you don't have access to that technique, if you haven't learned that before, email me and I'll be happy to share it with you. Because pure love is the strongest force there is. And the more you come from that place of love and thanks, the happier your life is. Is there ever not a gitchy moment? Yeah, it's called having a body on earth. But it makes those gitchy moments less extreme, more understandable, easier to pass through. So when you come from that place of thankfulness, and when you come from that place of pure love, life gets much easier. The other technique is the empathic shield, where we are in the empathic shield, you're wearing a light that is a protective force, and it's this gooey, yummy, golden light that nurtures you and protects you. And again, if you want to have that technique, give me, again, email at editor@ChakraLife.com. So you want to use your techniques, whatever techniques and whatever tools that you have, but just use them every single day. And when I get caught, we all get triggered. It just is. The difference, again, is that when you get triggered and you switch it right away. You bring it back to that place of compassion. So when I get triggered, I use conscious use of power to shift me out of a negative place and back into a positive. And that's really the key to happiness, to allowing yourself to flow through this transition as easily and smoothly as possible. So it's really, really exciting to be able to be a part of it. Now, I'm not sure, Pat, are we able to get texts at all? Chanting whatever I'm talking about? I don't know what I'm talking about. But all right. Are we able to get questions? We may or may not be able to open this up for questions. I'm going to see if I can get it. Hang on. All right. Pat, do you see any questions? So I'm going to open it up for questions, and you just put it in the chat room, and Pat should get those chats. This did not work last time. Oh, I am seeing chats over here.
Okay, I get names, but I don't have any chats online.
Okay, so guys, now is your chance to chat. Oh, good. I see everyone. I see who's on. This is fun. Hello, everyone. Great. Okay, so, this is only the second time that Pat and I have done this, and each time we get better at it. The first time.
We still need help.
Pat said we still need help. I don't know if you heard him or not over there. So if you have a question, let's go ahead and put it in the chat. So I see Diane and Connie and Helen and Cindy and Patty on here. I know there's a lot more of you on here. Those are the only ones I see on the chat.
They may be over on the Google account instead of this YouTube.
If you're over on Google, I don't think I can see your chat. You have to be on the YouTube. Okay. Well, the chat may not work yet. So if it doesn't, it doesn't.
I don't see anything coming in. And there is a place that you can add comments on the Google Plus.
Isn't this fun? The technology is amazing, and there is a 30-second delay between what I'm saying and when you see it, and that is the technology. So it is amazing, and we are having fun with it. Okay, there's more chats coming in. All right. And maybe you don't have any questions. Maybe I just answered all your questions. I don't know who that person. Okay. Good. All right. So yeah, we're excited about this. We're being able to do it. I'm not going to waste too much time on this anymore. All right. So I'm going to repeat the orbit for you while Pat will see if there are any chats coming in. Okay. So let's do the orbit again. So you're going to bring that energy, right, from source down the front, around your sacrum, up the back, down and up, down and up. Keep doing that. And keep doing that, following that energy moving through, just like following it all the way around your body until it's smooth. Good. And when that's smooth, you're going to do the left and the right. right? So you're going to do what we call thought stimulus and energy radiance. You're going to make that figure 8, and that's just moving that energy around your body, and it's going all the way around, front and back, left and right, creating that Da Vinci man or that toroidal energy. And you're going to continue to do that until it feels clear, smooth, and easy. And that's all there is to it. It's such an easy, simple technique. Well, it looks like we are not getting the chat going. So I guess I'll sign off. All right. I know. I see more people in here chatting, but I don't see. Or at least I'm not getting them. Well, you know,
Okay.
It's a new thing we're learning.
Here's a question
All
coming
right.
in. As 3D dismantles itself, will Earth still host beginners?
The question was, I'll repeat it. As 3D dismantles itself, will Earth still host beginners? No. No new souls being born on the planet are 3D anymore. And that's been going on, I think, since 2011. Well, the thing is that you still have many 3Ders in physical form that will live out their lives. So the answer is that the 3D, like newborn souls, are going to a new place. In fact, we were just talking about this, that Lady Nada, who is one of the Ascended Masters, has been very, very busy working on that new planet that is already housing these young souls. You can call it New Earth, but it's not really Earth. It's its own thing. So it's exciting because Earth has finished its sojourn as that beginning consciousness planet and moving to the next level. That's the teenage years. It really is. We're going into adolescence. So no, they're off. They're out of here. So good. Any other questions, Pat?
No, it's...
Well, one person figured it out. I can't see. I have to go to the control room. I lost that now. I don't have the...
Okay, do you have a routine you do every morning?
Yes, I do have a routine that I do every morning. I do a lot of things every morning. So I will meditate every morning. I like to do conscious use of power, and Patrick laughs at me because, you know, you always want to sit in position when you're meditating, but for some reason I love to do conscious use of power lying down. Don't ask me. I like it that way. So, and I'll do conscious use of power just saying what's up, anything that's up, because it's better to clear my ego before my ego acts than in the middle of a reaction. So I'll do conscious use of power, and then I will get up and I will do a meditation program. And I will always tube, tubing is only taught in Essentials of Energy Radiance, which is coming up November 15th and 16th here in Cave Creek. And I wish I could teach it in other places, but my crew will not. They're adamant about that. It's during Energy Radiance, and the reason for that is because it takes a little while to get your nervous system to accept it, because some people, we're stretching you to reach their vibration. So it takes a little bit to make it so that it's smooth. So that's how they want to do it. But I always make sure that I have a tube or an empathic shield on. I connect to my crew, make sure that I'm hearing and understanding my guidance, no matter what crazy flurries I'm in. And say thank you for the day I'm about to have. So, any others, Pat?
That's all that's coming in. Diane Kilber said it's wonderful to be here.
All right. Okay.
And, yeah.
All right.
That's all the questions.
All right, we got better at it. I think it went better this time. And each time we do these live casts, it's gonna be smoother and smoother. So I think the technology is terrific. I love doing it.
Ashley Motley, any additional technique advice for helping kids maintain their orbits?
You know, Ashley, I think you can teach kids just what we did, you know, just to bring it around their body. That's why we're not doing the breath when we do the orbit, like an orbital breath, the way you learned it. We're just bringing it down the front, up the back, down, and then side to side. And I'm willing to bet they're going to know exactly what they're supposed to do. Okay, good. Anyway, I have to look over at him because I lost my chat. I don't know where it is. Nope. I don't know. Pat's not seeing it.
Oh, there's one. Okay. Someone's had, Wendy's had a problem, lost connection to the video at least 8 times. So has anybody else had any problems staying connected?
Oh, I don't know.
So we can remedy it maybe.
Well, on my end, it looked like we stayed connected the whole time. But what I can tell you is that it's recorded. So it will be up on the YouTube channel. So you'll be able to see it again. And, you know, again, I know that people complain about the Google Plus and the Google Hangouts for that very, very reason, that they do go on and off. But again, this is pretty cool technology that we're using, and we'll float with it. So they do record it at least for us so that we make sure that's okay.
We also have another question about what can we do helping our dogs and cats?
Oh man, that's a good question. You know, one thing that you're finding as the magnetic field is reducing is that not just our pets, but our loved ones are passing on, because it's a very easy time to let go of the body when this happens. And so we want to, of course, you know, be encouraging and supportive as that happens. But, you know, there's been a lot of that going on, and I thought that it would be good for that explanation. The other thing that you can do for your animals is to do the orbit on them just by petting them and doing this in a petting motion, and they'll probably love you for that. So you can just do the orbit for them. Cool. All right. You know, we've done really well tonight, and I had fun. It was really fun doing this. So I want to do more of these again. And as I said, each time we're getting better. There is the thing with Google Hangout that it does click on and off. So just get back on again, but know that it is recorded. Practice the orbital breath at least once a day. But if you're feeling really disconnected, you can do it a lot. There's no limit as to how much you do it, but it should stay on. But you want to just check it and make sure it's connected at least once a day. So I want you to have fun during this time. What?
There was a comment that when it stops, to hit the refresh button and it brings it right back in again.
Oh, somebody said that when it glitches out and it stops, to hit the refresh button and it brings the video back in again. Thank you, Pat. That's a good help, especially for the future. All right, everybody. I had fun doing this, and we're going to do more of them. And my Energy Radiant students are going to see more of me like this too. Well, maybe not just like this, but sort of. So, all right. Take care. Have fun, and I'll see you again soon. Blessings.